What's up, guys, and welcome into What's Up TV. We are back for another Clubroom show for all of our members, man, and it is great to have you guys back on this Monday evening. I'm going to be with you for the next hour or so, breaking this down so far. Just on the right-hand side, you see I've got some topics that we can discuss, so keep an eye on those things. We'll go everywhere, actually, but we'll just get started in on this tonight. Firstly, I want to welcome everyone on the chat. $800 on us to win, Mackie. Bro, pleasure meeting you, brother. And shout out to our brother who did drop the 800. I don't want to I'll put that name out there. Yeah, let's hope that our bro is all good. Love to my man Mackie. Great to meet up on Saturday. Jazz, as always, brother. What's up? What's up? What's up, Carl, bro? Hope you've been well, man. And Chris, hope everyone has been all good. Yeah, exactly, bro. It really was. It really was good. Kia ora wānau, Hunter. Welcome in, man. Yeah, welcome in, everyone. It's been absolutely awesome. Just going to break down, firstly, the meet and greet. Man, what an amazing experience, to have everyone come out and see me and Ash, and to, we had about 25 people, I think, there in the end, maybe around 20-something mark. Yeah, and we went to Lily Worlds, had some cool activities, had some giveaways. A few of our members got some giveaways. And we had a Kahoot. Shout out to our bro Josh Hill. Josh Hill smashed the Kahoot. And we just had an all-out good time, bro. So it was real cool to see Ash get, to catch up with everyone, have a great time in New Zealand. He got to, yeah, man, we took him to Rainbow's End. We took him to try some pies, so we got a little vlog coming up to kind of show everyone what we got up to. But man, yeah, it was awesome, bro. And I want to share my love to everyone that came out and everyone that's on the channel here, members tonight, especially, man, for showing the love, bro. And yeah, shout out to our brother Josh Hill. Thanks for everyone donating the 50 voucher to me in the Kahoot. Yeah, he was emceeing and he was answering the questions at the same time. So you got to give it up to the brother, bro. He was gangster. And shout out to Josh. Josh came out with us in the morning. Went to Rainbow's End, went to the NZRL Museum, and did heaps of stuff. So it was real cool. Evening, Bruce. How you been, man? Have you been all right, man? T Max, shout out to Ashley for bringing Monty Beath and New South Wales Cup boys over as well. Yeah, that was cool to see the Cup boys, man. That was real cool. Thanks, JD. We appreciate you, man. Kia ora, Tans, man. Hope you've been well. Sorry I didn't get a chance to catch up with you. I'll send you out your stickers. Yeah, so I'll send that out to you. In fact, actually, I might just show you guys what we got done. Give me 1 second. So we got these all-you-can-eat Warriors little die-cut stickers, and there's some other ones coming soon as well. So yeah, we'll do them as little giveaways, stuff like that in future little live streams. But I do need to give one to I want to send some over to Jazz, who I caught up with Hosea. Shout out my bro Hosea. We had a great time with him too. I went out to West Auckland and caught up with him. But Jazz, I need to send you some of these as well, man. So I'll do that. But yeah, it's real cool. We had little giveaways and stuff. And appreciate everyone. But I hope you travel safe, Tans. Hope you really go back home safe to Wellies. Yeah, man, we're gonna have one next year for sure, definitely, man. So it'll come back around again. Yeah, glad Ash got. Yeah, bro, he really loved it, man. He loved it. Thanks, bro, Radiant. Appreciate it, man. Hey, Ness, yeah, should have known the Titans would turn up for Ash. All good. Lots of the boys learn from. There's not good twisted emotion. Club is on the right path. Could be the Tigers fans. Oh, low blow, yeah. Kia ora, my bro. Yeah, man. And actually, shout out to Hunter. Yeah, man, Ash would have loved the boy. He loved it, bro. I swear, because we had a meet and greet and stuff, and we had a really good time in the morning. And then, when he got into the game, Ash, once he got into his seats, and I think if you haven't seen Ash on TikTok, I think he's put a TikTok reel of his trip, and he just loved it, man. You could see he was just so pumped to be at Mount Smart. He wanted to go on the grounds, he wanted to be, but he was even talking about how different it is to Suncorp, and when you've been to Mount Smart, it's a different vibe. So yeah, he loved it despite the result Hunter. So Ash will share more tomorrow night anyway. So that'll be that'll be Jose. He's a big boy. Jose, Jazz, yeah, he's a scary man. Jose invited me into his home, bro. Gave me some chop suey, some rice. Oh man, chicken, potato mash, crab meat. This guy put on a feed for me, bro. Shout out to all the in-laws, Cook Island Whānau. Absolutely. I was pretty full from the day, and Jose filled me up even more. And man, it was good to go out to the bro and catch up with him as well. He's very, very hospitable, man. He gave me a couple of drinks on the way home. He said, make sure to message me on the way home. Like he made sure I got to Hamilton safe. So that was real, real cool. And big up my brother Jose. Absolutely awesome guy. And yeah, that's us. That's us next year, boys. Radiant, you need to, man. You need to come to these home games. It's an atmosphere. It's a buzz. And it's cool. It was a beautiful, clear night as well. The weather was wonderful for us that whole day. So Mount Smart on a beautiful kind of 4 o'clock evening, 5 o'clock evening is a place of beauty, man. It really is. And but man, yeah. So shout out everyone. We'll talk more tomorrow about it as well. But these are some of the topics we got tonight, guys. Feel free to talk about what you think is happening. Guys, I was at the game. I was on the east stand, and Ash was in his own seats, and everyone else was in their own seats. But I just felt the game was super, super flat. Definitely Egan went off, and the energy changed, and we understand Tamaire. The worst case scenario, I suppose, happened where Egan goes off within 10 minutes, and it then sends us on a trajectory that we lose a bit of that ruck manipulation through the middle. Defensively got called out a lot. I think the energy and speed that Titans came with, especially in their carries, we couldn't put people down. It took 3 or 4 guys to put them down. They defended hard. Their game plan, and this is something we need to talk about, is that teams are coming in with that same game model we are, that they want to outgrind us or outdo us at our own style, which can be alarming. That your own style, you can be beaten at your own style by another team that on the table is inferior at the bottom of the table. So makes us question a lot of things. It makes me think about what's happening. I just got an overall feeling, my raw emotion just watching it at the game was just things are a bit flat. Energy through the middle, like Jackson Ford, and just felt at times he was a bit, his energy was off. Dimitri came on, I thought it was a little bit better. The edge defense struggling with Kate Well coming in, and just the defensive movements, the shifting and getting off their reads. Tanner sitting on his lines a little bit, and Kate Well jamming and then missing the mark. And so, all those things, all those factors align, and it's kind of got this feeling of, it just felt like, we're not going to get back into this game. And it kind of showed that maybe we had some brilliant moments. I thought the little change to Tamaire at the second half for him to get out to the halves actually gave us a boost of energy. So there's positives out of that, but too little too late. And yeah, I'm not trying to be down on it, but I just got a feeling, just I'm not sure. Really, I'm not too sure about it, but I'm trying to, I sat there thinking, man, what are the answers to this? Well, the answer probably is just to get back to what we're good at and try and find some solutions on that edge, that whole chain, especially between Marata and Tanner Boyd are getting caught up a lot. They're sitting a lead line on Tanner quite a bit. So we need a bit more push from the inside, obviously. But we need Capewell and DWZ. And I think Capewell's the answer at centre for sure. I think his foot movement and is just too slow, especially coming up against quicker centres. And we saw that against Best, and now not so much against Kelly, but Brimson and other players that. And then Dallin is, I think, in a bit of a slump. And to be fair, system wise, we always try to jam in or to create that pressure from the inside to force him into a difficult pass. But there's still moments in the game where I feel he's just not quite there. He's not really clicking or feeling comfortable doing what he's doing. And the output, I always say that you'll always get targeted if your output isn't high. And for Dallin's case, it's he needs tries on the board to counter, I suppose, what would be so-called defensive deficiency. But I do think he's in a slump. Even the kick, I think Coram Chip might put one in behind, and it was going out, but for some reason Dallin touched it, and he was literally on the dead ball line. It's like if someone had, if the Titans had got that, they would have had to miracle pass it back inside. But actually, who was on his inside was CNK, and he still touched it. It's just those little confidence things. I felt like he's just really, really low. So the solution is you write it out with him, obviously. But then there's a deeper lying issue with the club haven't resolved something. Now, remember last year, I'll just quickly do this and I'll get to you guys in chat. I know you guys got your thoughts. Remember, just on the wing situation. Remember last year we were saying you have to bring these young kids in. Otherwise, if you delay their progress, the more years you delay them, the less opportunity they're going to get. So you imagine if Dimitrik and Leka and that didn't play this year, they had to wait another year. Then their experience, by the time this next year, they won't be where they are right now. So they need those NRL games underneath them. What I'm saying is the wings, if we're going to use wings through development like a Seal Kali or whatever, there needs to be a plan because both of our wingers, let's be honest, are on the way out. Roger, he's getting on and he's playing fantastic. I'm not saying right now, but I'm saying in the future, needs to be moved on. Dallin, same thing, needs to be moved on. But when do you pull the trigger and say, Seal Kali, yes, we want you to start now because we expect you in 2 years' time to be at a good position and we know we're going to have to bite the bullet now for you to learn and develop? Or does the club say, no, we just don't have the talent out there. We're going to write it out with our experienced players and we haven't recruited a player yet to fill that void. So wing position for the last 3 years, we all know it, hasn't been resolved through recruitment. And it definitely hasn't been resolved in terms of the club telling us Seal Kali's the next up and comer, definitely. Because we're still going to Ed Kossi. We'll go to Attain Tuopiki, who is a fullback first. So that's an issue, underlying issue. And if anyone has any thoughts on that, talk to me through the chat. Appreciate that. Okay, let me get back to what you guys are talking about. Daniel Berry, man, yeah, good to see you, my bro. Good welcome in everyone. Yeah, bro. Jazz, honestly, bro, top man. Are we a top 4 side? I don't think so because the Panthers are going to end up in top 4, in my opinion. That's a very, very good point, Team Mackie. Very, very good point. Yeah, we're not wrapping the ball up, Rodney. We're struggling to wrap the ball carriers up. The energy of opposition 4 packs is proving too difficult for us at the moment. We're losing control of the middle quite easily at the moment. And credit to the Titans, yeah. And these are teams that, Dez's 500th probably plays a part in them kind of pushing to get there. And so that's where, we have to acknowledge the opposition, even though they're running last or whatever they are. And they always stack up well against us. Dez always gets them up, knows the right game plan to counter Webby style, and does a good job. So I won't take anything away from it. I thought Jaden Campbell kicked the hell out of the ball, kicked the air out of the ball, and did a great job. They were willing to grind it out, and they did so, and they pulled the trigger and had the right players at the right times. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, definitely agree to you, Mackie. Leotar Metcalf. We're starting to see Metcalf's kind of individual brilliance. We miss a bit of that right now with Tanner Boyd, who's such a structured in the box square player, which is great to have a game manager, but when you're chasing points, you know, you need X factor. You do need X factor. Jose, shout out to the cookie in laws bringing all the food over for the game. It was a pleasure talking, Levi. Felt like we were mates, bro. Honestly, just hit it off with the bro, man. Um, yeah, the cookie in law, they can cook the cookies, eh, man. They can absolutely cook, man. Because my wife was doing an event um, for a friend's 21st, Cook Island, and she told me the food they'll bring out at that event is just crazy. So you know the Cook Islands, bro. If there's ever a Cook Island event on, let me know because I'll be there, bro. Because I know the guy is gonna be awesome. Uh Soul man, Soul on ice, bro. Hope you're well, man. Yeah, hoping you're doing well, brother. Great to meet you on Saturday, man. Thank you for coming along with your son. That was so cool, bro. Really appreciate that. Yeah, that there is a bit of and I think Foreign Foreign's still very good, isn't he? When you give him the time and space, Jaden Campbell was elusive, and he runs those lines. They turn their halves into ball runners almost, you know, or support players so well and fluidly there. Um, I think you have to be honest. We will struggle to keep our top four spot. I agree, Chris. We are the weakest of the top four teams. We lack spark in the halves and what shape to our defense, not just on the edges. Yeah, like that's the question I was going to pose to you guys. Are we at the actual top four team right now? What we're playing, the footy type of footy we're playing. I think we're probably sitting in sixth, seventh, or eighth. The style of footy we're playing currently, and the consistency, and I think that's where we really need to kind of accept that. But also, let's not diminish holding our spot in the four. If we can hold it, let's hold it. Because I just know the probabilities of us winning away in our finals is very low. But I understand that, Chris, what you're saying. We're not playing like a top four team, and I agree with that. Yeah, that needs to probably happen, T Mickey. I just think Morata's movements at times are quite slow once he gets a bit tired, and then Tanner's sitting there holding, and then you've got Catewell, who isn't the greatest center, making decisions, you know, to jam in, and then Dallin isn't in sync with either of those, and so there's a bit of miscommunication on that edge right now that doesn't seem to be quite working, and that they need to resolve. Um, Bruce, bro, as soon as Egan went off, the whole game changed. I was extremely grumpy at the game after he left. My mood didn't change much after all weekend. Yeah, no, Egan and I noticed I talked with Ash about this is that when Tamaida came in, you know, and he's not a hooker at all, but you knew the service just wasn't on the front foot. Even in good ball, you lose an extra millimeter or a millisecond or a second if that service isn't. You know, when Egan gets out of dummy half, he gets you that little bit of attention from the A defenders, and then you can start to push up and do what you want in your shape. Tamati doesn't give you that push up on the ball. It kind of stagnant straight to first receiver. So that's where it kind of you're missing a quality hooker, and that's where Healy will obviously come in. But that scenario, I mean, we all was praising, you know, Tamati's been fantastic because he's been covering, you know, fullbacks, center, halves. But when he's come on and done well at hooker was when Egan's played maybe 60 minutes and had an injury or HIA, and he can only do 20, and the game's kind of in the balance, and we survive. He had to play pretty much 70 minutes, and he didn't even play 70 minutes because he either got tired or Webby changed it to CHT. That because Egan got injured, that's why you know Webby. Sorry, where am I going with it? But yeah, that's the worst case scenario for a Tamati. A Tamati at hooker is best case scenario at the 60th minute. He comes in and plays 20 minutes. But you can see, like in his tackle tech, even Ash is pointing out, it's a great point from Ash. He'll talk more about it tomorrow. Tamati leads with his right shoulder, even though the contact's coming from the left shoulder. So all those little details isn't allowing us to wrap the ball carry up solid enough. So hopefully that gets cleaned up with Healy. And Healy, I'm hoping, can play a good 60, 70 minutes. And Tamati can just fill in if he needs to, or he can go help out in another position. But then again, I thought Tamati brought some good energy when he went to the halves. And he is a kind of a risk taker, much more than I'd say a CHT in that. At the end, when he threw the intercept to Jaden Campbell, that was trying something, a risk. And yes, that comes with his game. But when you're chasing points, I think that was the right option to go with him to give you just a bit more variability. He hasn't been moving well at all, Randall, lately. Yeah, that Rodney, and from an overall perspective, you're not wrong there. When we don't have a great points differential, it does allude to that we're not able to score a lot of points consistently. We've had games where we've scored a lot of points, but yeah, consistency over that is a great point. He was second rower. Carl says not a center. He only agree. He's got the yips. He does have the yips. Tahi, pleasure meeting you, bro. That was so awesome. You and your beautiful wahine, bro. We appreciate you coming through. Thank you, Tahi, man. And I know I didn't get much time to talk with you, as hosting an event and stuff, but I really do appreciate you coming through, my bro. Very much so. You're a legend, man. And appreciate the time you came out to do that, actually. I really do. Yeah, I get the edge is a hard place to defend, but when it's consistently below average, something's got to give. Yeah, tons. Like you can defend it to a point, right? But if you continue to make those mistakes, it's going to cost you, and that's where you need to look at. Like, I think Webby's trying to say, I need Dallin to make it through this. But my question is it worth it? Or is it worth it, say, you probably don't want to do it this year, but, at club planning wise, do you say, look, man, we need to really blood in the next winger that's from development? Or they need to go to market and make a decision. But right now, Dallin, we're hoping, and also that edge, whoever it's Catewell, or if they find a solution. And I saw Leatoa at the ground. He's limping around. He doesn't look healthy. And that's big up to Dom too. Pointed that out. He's watching the game. He just said Leatoa doesn't look right. And Dom was saying about his attitude not looking right either. So I'm not sure if Leatoa is the answer either. They might have to keep with Catewell, but that's going to cost us more and more, which I agree with Tans. A lack of speed in our backs does hurt us at times. You can see it when it gets skinned on attack. Also, when we have the speed to get through around players. Hey, yeah, bang on. And I love Pompey, but when Pompey goes on the outside, he's not going to break the lines. He's not going to get through, and that's where, to an extent, Pomps is fantastic. But we need strike centers. We need a bit more from the center position over the last few years. We haven't had an out and out strike center that can get you something. Lecker's probably the only one, which is the truth in terms of getting on the outside of people. He's probably the only one at the moment that has that blistering pace. So I agree a lot with that point. And I love Pomps. I love what he does. We're in the press of Silk Catewell is not a centre, but he has no else at the moment. He knows about DWZs. Says we'll keep the faith in him. And Kieran said after the game he started DWZ and knew he jams in. Yeah, well, that's a systems thing. Like DWZ is not jamming in because he wants to. I think he's doing it because that's the system requires it. Yeah, this is a fair comment by Tans. The only winger we have developed is Carly, so you have to give him a chance to show his talent in the NRL. If we're to sign someone, I would think Titans winger Alafiana Campera would be it. Yeah, the club, again, I'll go to this point. The club need to look at how they're going to resolve these positions next year. I know Roger will be here till 26, into 26, but we need to ask ourselves what we want to do with this position. Do we want to recruit in the market, get a Dean Merrill, Alofiana, Pereira? What do we want to do with this position? And how do we resolve it? That's kind of my thinking around it. All good, my man. Soul, great to have you, bro. Tony the back is X factor that we missed with Metcalf and CK center to help DWZ out there. Could be the one. I think Tane, and talking about the Tane topic here, Tane gives you options that just gives you a bit of spark attack wise. And I know CNK gives you that energy and yardage, but in a game like that, we were just chasing some points. You need someone like a Tane just to kind of give us something. And I think Tane has that in him to be a creative threat. So I really do believe that Tane is the go moving forward. But many will argue that CNK is, a workhorse and all those things. But it's like, what does your team need right now? I think we're needing some points. I think we're needing some more different angles that Tane can provide. That's kind of my thought process around it. Mikey F, man, thank you for coming. A YouTube member, appreciate it, man. Come in the chat, drop a comment. Happy to hear. Yep, and I'm with you, Jez. I got that feeling, and I was like watching the game and thinking about it. I was like, no, we're performing like a top 8, like and maybe 6, 7, or 8 at the moment. Yeah, I think we're just hitting a wall a little bit. Lexi, brother, my man, brother, I want to just big shout out to you coming through, bro, and so good to see you, so good to see you, and your swagger. I didn't expect anything less from you, my man. So I appreciate you dropping in. Yeah, and shout out and love to Mikey F. I also think CHT brought a 2 structure when TMM came on some spark and eyes up footy. Can't get rid of Boyd. He's structure in it, but maybe teams. Yeah, there's just something about TMM when he gets in that house role. TMM, he will feed the center a lot more. He'll give them early ball. If you saw a lot of TMM stuff, he won't drop Lecker underneath. He'll give him the outside and let him try work something. I think TMM just has a certain style that is more propensity to the attacking side. But it's kind of swings around about something like CHT was so good at that short field crossfield bomb that's kind of disappeared for a little bit. I think since Tanner's been on the ball, the balance between CHT and Tanner has kind of been a little bit different to him and Metcalf. You can just tell the difference between little halves combos. I think Metcalf and CHT had a really good thing going. Tanner and CHT, not quite so much. And then you see when Tamita gets out the back with Tanner, the attack starts to move around a little bit more. So there's an argument that maybe, yes, with Tanner, Tamita has something about him. And like I said, Tamita is just more propensity to attack. Just his style of play. Like when he threw the intercept to Jaden Campbell, it was because he was trying something. That's what you're going to get with Tamita. He'll throw the ball. He'll throw a cutout. It will probably get intercepted, but the next time he throws it, it'll be a try. That's this kind of. He's a gunslinger in a way. But you got a good point there, Chris. Jose saying if I'm Tane on this field somewhere, we have a better chance of staying in the top 4. Tane, again, I just bring that element. He's a footy player. He needs to be on the field. He can add value. He can still make top 4. Webby needs to take some tough decisions. It's Buzzman. It's not the making top 4. I think top 4 on the ladder, yes. But I think we're talking here top 4, the actual being a legit top 4 team, being an actual finals team that's ready to say we mean business. I don't think we're that now. I think you lose Barnett, you lose Metcalf, you lose Berry, so you don't have any consistency on that edge. You got Kate Wall, who's coming in and out, he's banged up. Egan's hitting the HIAs a bit more now. CNK's, you could probably argue just off the boil. He's had a few injuries. Dallin's got the yips, as mentioned before. That's I think we're just kind of hitting that wall a little bit. And that scares me because, 2023 had a similar vibe. But I just have to believe that we can still push through and make a concerted effort. But you can see not the wheels are falling off, but you can see the energy levels are a little bit diminished now, and things are starting to pile up. Yes, I, I'm excited for this kid too. I think he's going to be the burst of energy we need. And I had this chat with Ash actually. Where I was thinking, why hasn't Webby just said, look, we're going to roll and figure out ways to make a utility if an outside back goes down. Let's just get let's play through the middle with a Sam Healy, and he can bring his energy on the second half, and let's just keep that tempo, that ruck tempo going to try and overpower teams through the middle, and then so. Uh, but I think I get where Webby's trying to go with Tamaiti as cover for all covers, but for Sam Healy, I think he's going to bring a lot of energy. So I'm hoping that works for us and it's in our favor. Hayden said, before the season started, I would have been happy to be just outside the 8. So I'm quite happy with how we're going. Let's wait until our youth comes in and fills some of the spots for some older boys. Yeah, I totally get that too. But it's like when we're here now, we want our team to like do stuff. We want to make a play for things. But I agree with you. At the start of the season, we were like, I was saying we were going to be in 9th. And context is everything. That I don't think anyone predicted this way that we'd start hot. Like, what do we make on the first 6 or 7 games, and then we've maintained through. Roughly, we've had a low point, and we've beaten the Tigers and Knights, and now we've had another one. Like, that's the Dolphins is going to be real tough. I'll be really interested to see if the boys can pick up from the Dolphins. Like, that's going to be a hard one for me. But I would love to see it. So, my man, definitely think Tane needs to be on, probably at fullback. Yeah, he needs to be on there, man. Yeah, I get it, man. I really do get it. And it's one of those things like I feel Webby's got a great system. I think he's got a great coaching mentality. You just want a bit more pace to help him. I mean, you look at what Leka Halasima's done from an X Factor point of view. He's provided us wins because of his speed, but because of his power. His athleticism has actually helped us win close games. You imagine if we had one of those in the centers and maybe 2 in the wings, it makes us even more potent, right? So, yeah, I get what you're saying. Webby won't make major changes, but Vaimonga deserves a start. CNK probably needs to be in the centers, and Tamaiti needs to be in the halves. Yeah, I think that might be the case too. I think Webby's got to make some calls, and even if it's just to kind of jumpstart the energy again, like maybe he needs it. I mean, but then again, he's played it safe, and we've beaten 2 teams in the Tigers and Knights recently. But the downward trend is right. I feel with everyone here, there looks like signs like we're going to dip, that we have been dipping, even though Leka masks over what was really bad. We're still kind of declining from a trends perspective. Ever since Penrith, that dip hasn't really come back up fully. The Tigers was great because we muscled through their middle quite comfortably, and that's fine. But we're coming up against teams that aren't top 8, but they got, we'd say, better forward packs than us right now overall. And you'd probably say, how is that possible? But from how they're performing, where they are right now, they've outperformed us. So it's alarming. It's really alarming, and maybe those changes need to be made. My son made a solid point. He said the team seems to be relying on the young guns now to break open a game, so they're not putting in the extra effort. You could argue that, Tans. You could argue that the young guns are doing more than what they should be. I've had this chat with Ash many a time. I said the young guns, like you saw Leka drop a ball, other things like that. But I don't blame them because they're holding down like legit full-time positions on the field. Leka's playing 80 now. He's doing the hard grinding work of a back rower while being creative. He's pretty much being asked to do the work of an 800K a year player on whatever wage he's on right now. So he's out working his contract properly. He's out working what Marata is, and Marata's on 800K, I think, from what I understand. So it's like they're asked to do big jobs now. but there's no extra help coming through like that super X Factory as well. They are the X Factor, which is I know we were supposed. I guess we were supposed to expect that to happen, but at the same time, we didn't think it would be this much responsibility on their shoulders. And like you're saying, the others aren't putting any extra effort in. I think the balance too with Aaron Clark is, Aaron's probably just dropped off a little bit. His impact isn't as massive as what it was. There's some little things like, we aren't running those block shapes with the ball playing 13 and using an AFB as much as we would through the middle. So a lot of our middle attack isn't the greatest. If you look at our goal line attack when we're in the middle, the ball dies or is slow to get out of the hands of the locks. There's breakdowns as well when I attack that kind of slow us down. So not everything is the same as what it used to be, but also things are better than what they were. It's just we're kind of in that position where we need other points or differences, and that might be through changing the halves a little bit, tweaking it, or finding some other forms of, and which is maybe attain being in more of an X factor. You find a few more points that way. Watching the game back, the Titans are really good at punishing an immobile defensive line. They are. They really push up, Mikey. They really push up, and that we were hard. We couldn't deal with them, and they really pushed a lot of that stuff up. They really were physical. Yeah, I think we still have a good chance of scraping the forward towards 7. It's just we're not playing top 4. Yeah, that's it. That's bang on, Jez. Sorry, Liza, I'm going to push through some of these so I can catch up with them. Kick Chape S. Later in the game was poor in the south stand and he didn't even run, so he mustn't be healthy. Alan needs to trust his inside. You can fit a bus through those gaps. Yeah, they done their homework, man. They done their homework. They found the weaknesses. They nailed it. That cutout pass from Foz was beautiful, absolutely wonderful. Good to see the old fella, not specifically against us, but he's a player I've always admired as a Kiwis fan, and he's still doing it at this age. Did you know that his dad was the CEO of Air New Zealand? So he's come from wealth. He's come from it's funny when you learn things about people went through Wikipedia. At the start of the season, we thought Berry and Leotel were our guys with Pompey as the backup. Now it's Pompson, either CNK or Halasima. Yeah, that's a crazy point, Mackie. Berry and Leotel couldn't stay healthy. Berry specifically has had a howl of a season. Leotoa, either form dropped off. He got dropped one time, if I remember, and his leg hasn't been the right for a long time. And look at Pomps just being Mr. Consistent. And Pomps probably on value, pound for pound, how much we've paid and how much he's probably been the best buy in terms of the cheapest coin, but the biggest output. But that's crazy. You're bang on, T Mickey. It isn't getting easier. Got the Hammer and Herbie this week. Yep. And they'll do their homework. Katoa will read up on that. Katoa will attack that space between Marata and Tanner. And we'll have similar issues if it's not resolved. It isn't it's not a quick fix. Yes, World Cup spine this week. Haley Boyd, TMMM, 2-0 picky. Man. That would be nice. That would be nice, T Mickey. My man Nicholas, brother. Hey, appreciate you, bro. Good to meet you, man. Really, really good to meet you. It's cool, bro. We'll catch up. Definitely gonna catch up with you, bro. In the next couple weeks. When the girls hit hams, bro. But man, pleasure meeting you and your beautiful wife, man. Thank you, bro. We appreciate you coming through. That was real, real cool. Very tall man. Very, very tall man. He reminds me of would have been a great back rower. A Sean Lane type, a very tall Sean Lane type. Much love, my bro. CNK hitting up for 200 meters a game is great, but the best fullback in the game unlocks the backs around. Great point, Randall. Great point. I'm trying to keep it moving for a little bit. I'd love to break down each of you. You guys got amazing comments in here. If we are concerned about this, I'm sure Webby is too. You would think the boys know that at stake here. Then, yep. I think so. Love you, brother. Love you, man. I don't think we're ruthless enough. It's all about attitude. Sometimes we've seen passive. We need to have an F around and find out energy. Dance, bro. You spit it no other way. You spit it no other way, dance. Oh. Hey, Tans, yeah. Hey, good to see you. Actually, shout out to Real. Caught up with Real as well. Was at the game. Just drove up. He didn't have a ticket, he told me. I'm not sure if he got into the game, but him and the bro rocked up, man. So big up WFTV, bro. Love those guys and the mighty they're doing, man. I do think playing the New South Wales Cup boys throughout these final games will give the boys a spark while also giving some players so much needed rest. Might do, man. I'm ready nung ati kangaroo. Nice. Yeah, bro. We'll adopt them in. He needs to find a way in. He needs to find a way in. I think we need Tane just for added speed. That's one thing we lack. Licker might be our fastest. He is in the back row. Yeah. I think we all believe in Sam Healy. Then we need to look at these young guns from Cup. Remember an 18-year-old Benji? Yep. There is some of that to it. You need to pull the pin. I mean, we were crying for pulling the pin on Dimitri in there. Then the club were right to do it this year. Do you bring in a new winger this late in the season? Hard to say. And look, if you brought a Sio Cully in right now, and if he's working with Catewell, he will look very similar to what Dallon's doing in many ways, barring him obviously in the attacking space, maybe being a bit different. But yeah, there are some things you could maybe say, hey, we're going to pull the pin. I don't think from Webby, and I'm not that I want this, but I don't think Webby's going to change anything going now. I think he's pretty much banked on whoever's been playing this point. That's who he's got. It's a short turnaround. Dolphins off a bye. It's all about that middle for me at the moment. We're getting manhandled in the middle. And Knights really threw it at us. They bombed a couple tries, Titans controlled us, and once they got their hand in the game. So we've got a lot of work to do. Ford has been struggling lately. Man works himself to exhaustion, but he also stays out there a bit too. Yeah, I've said this to Ash a little bit. I said too much of Ford is too much. He's a good player, but when he's on there for that little bit longer than necessary, it kind of compounds issues at times. So I thought Ford off the bench when Barnett was there was great, and come in and do an extra long job if your guy needs an extra break. But when he's kind of the main focal point, it can drag a bit. Dolphins are pretty much the best out of heavily depleted, injury-stricken teams. I have a ton of respect for them and very, very wary of them. Jazz, you have every right to. You have every, very, very right to. What would you do what we do in New South Wales and carry your hooker and 14? Using CHT as a 13-14 off the bench and Sam Healy would allow us to take the middle with speed. Yes, that could work. I'm just going back to that point. I talked myself into it, Mickey, but when Tanner and Tamaiti got clicking, it did look pretty good for that last 20 or 30 minutes. If that works moving forward, maybe that might support that change. Not saying that Webby will do it, but if we were to think about it, it could work. That combination, you could just see little signs of that combination with Tanner and Tamaiti. But I'm not going to diminish the Tanner and CHT, but CHT gives you that physicality in the middle. Tamaiti does a good job, but CHT is a little bit stronger up top and can definitely play more of a utility role that way to help out Healy. But if you look at the kicking, I mean, now that Tanner's in there, he's doing the majority of the kicking. CHT didn't do a ton of kicking from what I remember. So, whereas there was a much more balanced. What was good with CHT and Metcalf, they had like a 50-50 split. And so the kicking game of CHT was important. If I remember, maybe CHT had maybe 3 or 4 kicks. So that's where you could argue, say, well, Tamari could be the better attacking option because CHD gives us a stronger 14 option. That's an argument to have. Yeah, I was sitting in the East Stand, bro. Yeah, I was. Is it good that there's still a tune-up game, but we better get it together quickly these next rounds? Yeah, they are. I mean, Titans are going to really test us out. I mean, sorry, Dolphins are really going to test us out. Yeah, bro. We've been talking about it for a long time. I think we know who the man is in the centers, the first pick now, isn't it? So you're right. It feels like 23 season. If you look on a form, we're supposed to be locked in. This is where you want to start firing on all cylinders. Feels the opposite right now. Could be, man. Bring in Jet Cleary and NR will rig our games for us. See, mate, actually, it's not a bad idea because then what it will do is it'll create the Cleary brother vibe, and who's fighting for top four. Jet comes in and they lift him up and they make sure he gets the praise, and then they've got their media for the week. Is Jet Cleary going to supersede Nathan? And it carries us through to the top four. Oh, I love it. I know what you're doing, bro. I know what you're doing. Very smart. Dom, mate, welcome in, my brother Dom. Great to talk to this man on the weekend. Absolute legend. And it's great to spend some time with Dom. And I appreciate you coming from the Naki, man, making your way. And, it was cool. Dom was telling me about Leotoa. He doesn't think that Leotoa is checked in mentally. That's why, from what he was saying, I was like, nah, we can't go. Leotoa's not going to come in, I don't think, this season. And he looked hurt. So, Dom, appreciate you, bro. Appreciate your love and kindness for Wise Up TV. But, chopping it up footy wise, Dom can cut it up with anyone, bro. So it's good to hear his feedback as well on where we're at. On the other side of things, the bad games sell a lot of drinks, must be a part of the plan. Chris St. Tans, you bang on. We are top four. We're going to smash attitude. How do we look flat? Great point. Yeah, too much Jacko is too much. Division needs to start like the Penrith Fish needs an aggressive alpha. Yeah, that's a great point, Dom. You make a good point. Does Tanner have the keys to the kingdom? This is maybe a good. I think everyone, like Webby says, drives the car differently. Tanner drives the car probably a bit more structured. Goes through all his checks and balances and reads. More of an accountant style, maybe. You go through his checks and balances. Whereas Metcalf was give you a bit more variety. Actually, chuck in the chat. What type of car is Tanner Boyd, and then what type of car is Metcalf? That's a good little. Maybe Tanner Boyd's a bit of a Toyota Ford Focus, or maybe a Ford Focus or something like that. I don't know. Healy was gang. He was gang. Jet will have a blinder. He will. Good catching up, man. If you're going to make changes, it has to be now. Otherwise, it'll be that's it. I think we need line. Yeah, we need a bit of line breaks right now. Eh? We need a bit of that. Tennis kicking game is great. Just the kick chase bad on the weekend. Yeah, he's got, bro. When you watch his kicks, they've got great height on them. He's a great grinded out style kicker. But we couldn't deal with their middles. So all his good work was undone when we just let them plow through, and they had the power. Metcalf as a Tesla maybe blow up while Tanner as a Suzuki Swift. Yeah, so Tanner's very known. He's got that vibe. The right wing needs an alignment and balance. Yeah, they need a wheel alignment, I think, first. Tanner drives with a white VW suit in real life. It matches up last inspector. Oh, that's gold. Yeah, so he's an accountant type guy. He checks and balances, right? So he'll go through all of his reads, He won't do the massive cutout. I think one thing we lacked because we didn't have such good field position. A lot of our stuff, he didn't go to the short kicking game as much. He went for the crossfield faded kind of bombs that fell on the back row line, and they just didn't fall. And I got to credit to Sami for watching at the game. He just nullified a lot. So did the opposite winger. Right, so it is full waff and retro. No, I do. That car should not be on the road right now. Remember the cars back in the day that had so much smoke out of their exhaust. I know that there's hardly any of those cars on the road, but remember the '90s guys? You get smoked out every day. All the cars back then were so bad, eh? Off topic, but yeah, K1Ds are those cars that need people to push them when they start working at the lights. Yeah, I think Kickball had a bit of a no handbrake once. He was driving without a handbrake when he tried to go at Brimson. Definitely a late model Skoda. It's probably a Supra. Ah, man. Tanner West game for the Warriors this week. Yeah, it just didn't click for him. The Titans roll on was nasty. They were too easy. Bang on, Tay. You bang on. The meters just came through so quickly, and it's a bad game when you're seeing the length of the sets that they're having, and you're like, that the meters they covered. You're thinking, oh, it's fifth tackle, and then you look up, it's only third tackle. You're like, what the heck? They've just made 80 meters. That's how long some of these sets were going for. Um, no strict mitts, but Super Zero. That's gold. That's gold. Even Aaron Clark went missing pin. Yeah, he just didn't have the impact, eh? And I think, as I was saying, I was just sitting in the game. I was like, I think just the crowd knew it was just a flat performance, and there was 24,000. It was a massive crowd, but the game just died off after Egan went off, and like, you probably put it to Egan for a lot of it, but you know, um, CNK trusty Toyota Hilux with the AUZ FE8 engine conversion. Oh wow, Jazz knows his cars, bro. He really knows his cars. Bunty and Ali, Lasik, Fatialofa, Iramir going. Do you call any of them up for a game to help the middle? That's a good point. Webby has kind of shortened his squad. If you look at it now, he's really been pushing Smith. Bunty hasn't touched ball. Ale. So we saw Ale on the weekend. Lasik, Fatialofa. It's just he's got his top 22, I think, Mackie, or almost top 20 now, and he hasn't really rotating them through and out. So I would like there to be. I'm big in rotation. I mean, I've always talked with Ash, do we rotate Egan a bit now? And everyone's like, nah, keep playing through. I'm always on that kind of rotation buzz because I just don't think Egan for that, he's not that type of player to play 24 rounds at 80 minutes. Like, he's a kind of a guy that needs a bit of a break at some point. So, I don't know. Looking at those forwards, probably. But Dimitrik and that are actually doing a really good job. But do you give Ford a little bit of a break? Yeah, it's one of those weird ones where Webby trusts his 20. Me personally, and that's probably why I'm not coach, but I'll probably push to 25. I'd love to rotate a bit more. Especially if we're going to say, coming to the last bit, we've got 6 more games. We need to pretty much win. In my opinion, we need to win most of these games to solidify top 4. Just solidify that we're going to have a good run in the finals. Because if we bow out the first week, it's like, it shows that we weren't what we thought we were in many ways. Disagree, brother. I think he wasn't the issue. Kicks were okay. Chase was flat, didn't compete. You got rolling the forwards. No coordination. Agreed, Jess. There's an upside to bringing a new player from a couple like Carly. The fence don't know him, know how his style turns. Yeah, that's a fantastic point. In fact, Tans, is that your Moko in that picture with Dylan? After I saw your Moko, he's so cool, isn't he? He's so cool. He coming up to me, hey, can I play this song? Oh, yeah, what song you want? And like, oh, can I play this song? Tans got some cool Mokos, man. Really, really cool. We were up 10-0, and it felt like the 40-point thrashing was on the cards. Egan was a big loss, but the boys need to go to another when that happened. Yeah, the boys had to go to. Well, that's a great argument, Rodney. There are some good arguments there. I agree, Egan, just because he can play 80 doesn't mean he should play 80. Yeah, I just don't think he's built that way for a long period of time. Tainer's a boost of Mitsubishi Evo. Whoa, man, Jazz is coming with some fire. He's actually coming with some fire. It shows that Egan is most likely the coordinator in the front. Yeah, Egan, and this is bang on time. Egan is a director. He will coordinate a lot of attacking structure by leading the team into their spots. When Tamaiti came in, obviously that drops because Tamaiti's not gonna. He's just gonna shovel past it onto whoever, but Egan will lead you in to what your next shape will be. So he's massive. Now Healy will come in, and I think the tempo of the ruck will be really good. This will be probably, even if CNK does play, I think having a Healy will get him around the ruck, will get him a big yardage, I think. But yeah, Healy will provide that energy. But Egan is the mastermind behind a lot of the attacking goal line stuff, in my opinion. If he's not there, the little extra milliseconds and seconds that you need to create a bit of space is gone. So I'm not saying we need to get rid of Egan. I'm saying we should preserve Egan for the last. We want him to be fresh come finals because he's so important. I'm not asking for Healy to take a spot. Egan is what we need. Egan to make this thing click if we're going to have a chance. So, but we need him fresh. Whereas in afternoon, evening games don't work. Yeah, they've always struggled, haven't they, Dante? RTS is the skyline on Too Fast Too Furious, bigger fast. I think the players on notice for me at DWZ and Ford. I like someone's suggestions of moving CNK to center, get Kate Wild back the forwards, bring Tane back to fullback. Yeah, there's some adjustments that could be made. Jazz really knows his cars, eh? He really does. Yeah, Webby has said that the attack is designed around Wade Egan. Yeah, it really is. It really is. Oh, that's the oldest one. Like Katsuya. Yeah, had the best time ever. I actually thought he'd get bored being at Mount Smart all day, but he thought you and Josh were cool as. Oh, man. He is cool. He is very, very cool. Predicted 17. I don't know. I might have to do the opposite. I think we went 15 Warriors to 2 Titans last week, so we might need to change it. We might have to go 15 Dolphins to 2 Warriors and see if that makes us win. I haven't really thought of it right now, Jose, but tomorrow I'll break it down with Ash for sure. Oh, you mean just our sorry, you predicted 17, not combined 17. Okay, get you. Predicted 17. I think Webby's not going to change anything. But I would like Tane at the back. I'll mix you with Ash. I could see CNK at centers. I would like to see Okali, but I don't think they'll have it. I think they'll stick with Dallin. I would like to see a Tamaiti and Tanner for one game and see if that really clicks and see if CHT could balance that middle out if Healy's only going to play 60. So, that's the type of thing I'm thinking about. And New Quarter just, sluggish, slow still. I think Webby needs to put him in, put Catewell in there or switch. There's some changes need to be made. Surely Egan can't take many more head knocks before it becomes a real problem for him to continue playing. Well, he has. I don't know what his medical advice has been, but how many HIAs I think since I've been doing content, and I don't know how many more before then, but 2023, this might be his 7th or 8th in the last 3 years. That is quite concerning, you know what I mean? Tuapiki DWZ, yep, Pompey, CNK, RTS, TMM Boyd. Would like those halves I just want to see what it looks like. Clark, Catewell, Halasima, Fisher, Harris, Healy, Vaimaunga, CHT, Ford, Newcourt 11. That is not a bad team, Mickey. And again, you killed it. I definitely like that. Let me break down. Tuapiki gives you the X factor. The back. Pompey helps secure up Dallin. CNK and RTS that may struggle, or vice versa. CNK Dallin will struggle because they're not good, but that we'll expect 2 tries down that one of those channels. Tamighty Boyd will give you a bit more of attacking structure and a bit of feel for Boyd, who knows Tamighty's game because of the cup experience. Clark, Capewell, Halasima will shore up things. Capewell, we've seen the Origin performance he's provided. Healy going to give you the energy. Vaimonga will be gritty, like a. I see where you're coming with the fish and Vaimonga idea. CHT gives you that solidity, knowing the middle will be solid because he is strong. Ward will be better balanced off the bench. Newcourt again coming off the bench, and Laban, mate, T-Mickey. If I see that come out tomorrow night, you're a genius. You're an absolute genius. Lafayette seemed to be moved into the centres on the right, and Tane at fullback, Laban for Newcourt to Healy. Yeah, that would be. I think people have been asking for Halasima to the centres. Very, very, very. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that would look. But yeah, see, Newcourt seems to get gas so quickly. Some things need to change with the bro. I love him, but man, he's on way too much for the output we get. Yeah, nah, it's a bit slow, for sure. He does use the fry card stuck. Oh, Bruce, bro, you're so gangster, bro. Fork Falcon is good for a stint, but if on for too long, he turns into one day. Yeah, not bad, but not what we want. Man, you guys know your cars, bro. Even if it goes wrong on Friday, what would you like to happen? Probably knowing that top 4 might not be on the cards. I'm thinking top 4. The more I'm thinking about it and where our team's at, I'm not so focused on top 4. I just want us playing good footy again. I just want us to build some confidence again and build something that looks like it could be threatening in the finals. And if we drop down places, that's sweet. I just want to see key indicators like, is the attack looking better? Is the defense side, is the right side looking much more solid? Are we actually beating teams that we should be beating? Because we've got a whole bunch of beatable teams coming up. Is the middles rectified? I'll be focusing much more on those things, just and not really so much on top 4, because I don't think we're playing like a top 4 team right now. And it doesn't matter if other teams aren't chasing us in the top 4 or whatever, they are. But even if other teams weren't performing like a top 4, I would still wouldn't call us a top 4 team, because a top 4 team is dangerous and can beat lower teams comfortably, or they should be. So I think there's a bit of work to be done, but I would try to get, like, we need to sort out our middles, sort out defense, all the basics. You know what I mean? Buzzman, you're very kind to send for the $2.99. Thank you very much. Oh, the butts man. Wow. Appreciate you, my man. Really, really do appreciate you. I think talking points, I've talked about most stuff. Underlying issues, yeah. Those are the underlying issues. Is the middles. Are we really missing Barnett? I'd say we are. Are we not as good as maybe we thought we are? Sure. Are the young guys been asked to do pretty much everything, or been asked to do a lot? It feels like it now, and it's adding up a little bit. The Leckers thing mask over, try and mask over our issues. Sure, it probably did. And I think that goes back to the point, was winning all these close games just masking over that we're just not that good of a team? Maybe. But we're here now. We're in the position to do something in the finals. We need to. And for me, we're not playing like a top 4 team, but why not be prepared to play like a top 4 team? Get ourselves right. Do you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say. Isaiah, Jazz, 2007 Lane Camaro, 1970 Dodge Charger, 2002 Nissan Skyline R34, and the 1989 Batman. Man, you guys really know your wagons, man. You really, really do. Yeah, I think so. I think you gotta really push the pedals at times, don't we? Yeah, I think this can be a good point. I think Tane isn't. I know people want to dismiss Tane and some people, seeing. I just think there's something about Tane. I'm trying to think about if Kevin Locke was like viewed as like, because he was small, but Kevin was great too. I'm just trying to think of what we need is something like Tane right now. And actually had a good chat with Dom about Tane. Actually, Tane actually squares up when Tane gets that ball from fullback. He'll send it to a certain side or go to the middle, or we find a little space, and that next play the ball always seems to work out for the next player. He's just got a little bit more speed at the moment, Tane. He's got a little bit more quickness, a little bit of sharpness, and all those milliseconds of play the ball speed and quickness and all that line breaks, all those things can add up on a team. Best example of that was when we played the Tigers and he made that line break at the end, right? That Tane had been doing a death by 1,000 paper cuts throughout the game, and then the straw that broke the camel's back was when he made that line break right at the end of the game. Although the game was wrapped up, but he can get you those moments because he knows how to break down. He can break down a defense over time. CNK can, but I just think he's not in the best of form as well. So those are some things to think about. Ball playing is very good too. Something about yeah, give me something about Murray. What an amazing film, wasn't it? Something about Murray. Oh, I miss those good. Those are good films, man. Good films in the 90s. Get your cars right, Jazz. Get your cars right. Get your cars in. I'm about to turn the stream off. So get your cars in quickly. Otherwise, you guys talk on the WhatsApp or Discord, whatever you need to do. But yeah, guys, gonna wrap this up very, very soon. I'll just go to another 2 minutes. Yeah, I love watching the Warriors when he's on. He's great. He's very, very good. Kurt, hope you've been well, man. Christchurch, how's the jazz drumming going? I hope the music side getting a few gigs and doing well on that side, boy, man. Yeah, Lock, definitely. Yeah, Nicodemus, he's still doing pretty well. Ohio, he was that man. Ohio was that big barrel chest, same size. Like reminded me of size was similar to Stacy, wasn't he? Um, um, Team, what's one change you would want to see tomorrow besides Tane? I would like to see tomorrow. I would just like to see that and see what it's like with Tanner. If that could happen, I will go for it. Um, and the reason that is because Tamai's not playing 7, so he's not been asked to do the kicking duties. But he's been asked to do a role supporting Tanner. And I think, in a subtle way, him helping Tanner assimilate into the team better is probably better through Tamai at this point. Otherwise, you just power through a CHT and hope that that clicks over time. But yeah, there's just something I would like to see Timeki, that one about Vaimonga. That'd be very interesting to see. Um, oh man. Yeah. Well, DWZ. I would like to see a CO Kali personally. Last one. I'll take this last one from TJ, and then I'll bounce for tomorrow. Do you think maybe Webby is thinking of swapping TMM? It could be. I think what happened was TMM just got tired and couldn't do the role, and he pushed in CHT because that's all he had to answer. I was meant saying Healy, Spine, Healy, Tanner, Tane. Yeah, it was interesting, but I mean, I just I thought it was because TMM was tired and couldn't do the role for that, but then again, TMM offered something different, which is great as well. Okay, guys, that leaves us for the show then, man. I appreciate everyone coming in. I just want to thank again everyone that's been here tonight. Mikey F, you're fantastic. Welcome in and some great comments, man. So welcome in for every Monday night. And the Butsman. Fantastic, man. Southside, thank you, man. Appreciate you. Lexi. I want to look at 4-bit Bunty on the win. Very, very good. Cool, man. See you later, Jose. Have a great night, man. But the last one thing, much love, Jazz. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, much love to everyone. Amazing. Again, Wise Up TV meeting greet was awesome. And great to put faces to names. And I share in that support of everyone. Thank you, Rodney. Great to see you. You know, you've been in the chat 2 weeks now. Really good points from you, man. Appreciate your time. Inspector, as always. Yep. Dom, fantastic to meet you, brother, as always. But we'll talk tomorrow night, guys. Tuesday, 8 p.m. NZ time. Come in then. Ash will be there. It'll be good to share his experience at the game, watching the game live as well, and his overall experience. But yeah, appreciate the love. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace out. Up the wires as always.